ensures. By 1939, Europe was a powder keg. As you can see on the map, the aggressive Axis powers, primarily 39. By 1939, leaders on all sides utilized massive rallies to consolidate support, drawing huge crowds. The rigid formations and goose-step marching seen here were designed to project absolute control and tactics. In the early morning light, thousands of soldiers boarded trains bound for the front, marking...
The departure of these soldiers signaled a massive shift in industrial output, with factories ramping up productions.
During the war, ordinary families faced significant challenges, quickly having to adjust to strict rationing and new Sibikas the district students. Across the district, children are now attending school under these banners, promoting of unity and coherence. Between 1939 and 1941, Germany significantly expanded across Europe.
We are witnessing a humanitarian crisis as forces converge on the Central Territories.
Breaking news this hour as the conflict escalates and war spreads across Europe, drawing in neighboring nations. Above the picturesque European countryside, a fleet of non-combat aircraft demonstrates precision flying in a The strategic deployment of these combined air and naval forces ensured control over the vital shipping lanes. The soldiers come through here every morning. We just stand and watch until they're gone.
When naval fleets move through calm waters, they are able to maintain formation and speed efficiently.
We had to leave everything behind, walking for days just to find a safe place.
We have been waiting for help. Now the medical teams are here, treating the children and the elderly in the camp. We have to keep the planning quiet. They're inside now, figuring out what to do. The patrols outside must not know. We can't talk openly anymore, so everything has to be written down and passed in secret under the tables. This is where they severed the main line. It's not violent, but it's sabotage meant to isolate us and slow down the relief effort. The shifting territories on this map show exactly where the conflict is spreading. These battlefronts are moving at.
It's not just the heat, the ground itself is dangerous. They rely on each other to make it through. The glowing interior lights you see behind me represent thousands of workers on the night shift, keeping the industry running until dawn. As men went overseas, millions of women stepped into vital industrial roles, reshaping the workforce entirely. The concept of the home front became crucial as total war required the efforts of every citizen. Amidst these reconstruction zones, we are ensuring that children have safe places to play.
Red Cross teams are on the ground right now, providing crucial assistance to civilians impacted by the situation.
Every day, cargo planes deliver vital supplies to our bustling urban centers.
And this progression brings us to the pivotal year of 1944, where the outcome hung in the balance. In 1944, as Allied soldiers prepared for the major operation, these symbolic gestures of unity. As the Allied forces pushed forward, their arrival in occupied cities sparked immediate and jubilant celebrations among Carburers.
Even with all the cheering, there was a deep sense of peace, knowing the war was over for us. The flags you see flying behind me mark the liberation of these formerly occupied buildings and the restoration of national pride. After years of waiting, the joy of reunion fills the streets as families welcome their loved ones home.
In May 1945, after years of devastating conflict, peace finally arose. The signing of these documents by European leaders marked the official end of the conflict.
With the necessary agreements finally signed, the long process of rebuilding this city can begin. In the aftermath of the conflict, the sound of children returning to school offers the first signs of hope.
Around the world, factories are being repaired and restarted, promising a new era of industrial growth and opportunity. Following the war, the map of Europe was completely redrawn, dividing the continent into these das.
The early reconstruction of the Berlin Wall site was highly symbolic, marking the physical and emotional reunification. With the conflict over, leaders gathered to begin planning for peace and cooperation. Lagerhofen. Following the recent challenges, this new initiative aims to modernize economies and ensure a sustainable and rebirth.
It began with a simple plan: Now, community together to transform their neighborhoods into lush. With the railways repaired, we're seeing trains actively moving both vital cargo and passengers across the region again. Across the region, numerous public monuments are currently being rebuilt and restored to their former glory. Traveling through this peaceful region is effortless, thanks to these modern electric trains connecting the countryside. The sight of these flags waving together symbolizes the power of global partnership and unity. This gathering marks a pivotal moment as we move toward a new era of cooperation. The promise of a new era was overshadowed as the world descended into decades of tension and political hostility. In 1947, a distinct division emerged across the continent, separating the Eastern and Western blocs. Western European leaders faced a critical juncture today as they gathered to discuss the unprecedented challenges. Between 1948 and 1952, essential goods poured into these ports. Behind closed doors, the leaders of the Eastern Bloc gathered. The tension in the room was palpable, shaping the continent's future. From this vantage point, the legacy of the division is still visible in the contrasting architecture of the former East and West. In the ashes of victory, the Grand Alliance fractured. The era known as the Cold War had officially begun. While the Cold War escalated politically, for ordinary citizens across Eastern Europe, daily life was defined. Across Western cities today, outdated infrastructure is finally being replaced with modern, sustainable solutions.
Built right here in the city, these new schools and green playgrounds give kids the perfect space to learn, play. Following the war in 1945, Europe entered a long period of division that lasted until 1989.
During the Cold War, Europe was clearly divided between the Western Bloc in blue and the Eastern Bloc outposts. Nowhere was the division of the Cold War more visible than in the city of Berlin, split distinctly into During this era, the streets of East Berlin were characterized by these subtle grey tones and strict architecture. West Berlin is steeped in history, yet today, these streets are incredibly colorful and bustling with vibrant life. For these people in post-war Berlin, crossing the checkpoint is a tense and cautious affair. But as you can hear today, it's hard to imagine that this very street was once the heart of the Iron Curtain, dividing a continent. From the stark divisions of the past, we move to the modern unity represented here today at NATO's headquarters. To understand the current geopolitical landscape of NATO, we must first examine the historical counterpoint. Here we see the synchronized scale of the Eastern European military, a strictly ceremonial and non-violent display of discipline. The presence of these missile sites in the distance serves as a symbolic reminder of the ongoing
These are the communist housing blocks many families call home. Built for efficiency, they often lacked basic comforts. In Western European school systems, outdoor playtime is considered essential for a child's development. This vast network carries goods seamlessly across the continent, ensuring peaceful and efficient logistics throughout Europe. Krasnodar, welcome to the new phase of Eastern European industry. As you can see, the emissions are primarily steam. Across Western Europe, a new era of growth is defined by ambitious projects aimed at rebuilding cities, and podcasts have long presented Western lifestyles as a model of prosperity, often overlooking the industrial costs behind them. Analyzing these vintage posters reveals a stylized glorification of the industrial worker, contrasting with the region's citizens in parks and marketplaces. Daily life continues. We look back at the rapid changes of the early 20th century, leading up to the pivotal year of 1961.